There he goes. Can you hear us, Eric?
Yeah, I've been listening. It's my first time listening to you all. But my name is Eric Marshall, and I'm calling from just outside of Charlotte, North Carolina. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you a little bit soft, but I'm Brainbug, and this is Jim Barrows, and we like to explore these kind of experiences that people have. So I understand you had a experience with a UFO or something similar.
Well, I've had multiple experiences with this phenomenon, and it led up to an actual face-to-face encounter with a being or entity of some sort that I cannot describe other than what some of the images that you might have seen in pop culture, similar to something like that. I actually had a face-to-face encounter with something like that.
Like a gray alien?
October 13th, 2010.
And what did the alien look like?
It thing sure looked like one. If it wasn't, it was sure putting on a good show for me then. If it wasn't.
Did you say October 13th?
The term alien, October 13th of 2020, last year.
2020. Okay.
Yeah.
Go on.
The backstory. My fiance and I, we moved into a house. She purchased the house in September, and within almost immediately, some strange things were happening inside the house that that everybody was experiencing and feeling, and things that like laying in the bathtub and the lights dimming down and getting brighter, dimming down, like electrical surges type stuff.
Okay.
And that led up one night on October the 13th. I was hearing these clicking type sounds, okay, throughout the house. And I went to bed, and it was late at night. It was in the middle of the night. I woke up. Just as I was falling asleep, I heard the clicking sound again, and I opened my eyes. And this thing is in our bedroom. I opened my eyes, and I jumped out of bed, standing up, looking at it, face to face, eyes open. I knew I wasn't dreaming because I had just literally went to sleep, to lay down to go to sleep, and I hadn't really fell asleep. And I'm looking at this thing face to face. It was tall. It had massive round eyes, like oval shaped eyes. They weren't almond shaped, or they weren't black. They were oval, and they were brown, and the pupils dilated, and it made facial expressions. It looked at me like it was surprised that I was seeing it. And it was terrifying. I mean, it was terrifying. Like, my natural instinct was to hop up and immediately start yelling, and I was like trying to push it back. My fiance, I woke her up. She was freaking out, like, what's going on? What's going on?
So you touched it?
As I was hopping up and I hopped up, and it was standing over top of us, or top of me on the left side of the bed. It was like right there. And I immediately jumped up and started like trying to push it back, but it was almost like a hologram. It was not in the physical, not like a physical 3-dimensional body like you can touch and feel, but it was there nonetheless. Like, I don't really know how to describe it other than that. I've never experienced anything like that. I have had quite a few unexplained experiences, but that takes the cake.
So I gotta. I know Jim's got a.
No, go ahead.
Load up. Have you ever experienced sleep paralysis?
I have when I was. It started in when I was 15. I remember I had sleep paralysis for the first time, and when that happened, I didn't really know what it was, and to my knowledge, I've experienced it 2 other times since then.
And I have had sleep paralysis as well, and my experience is very similar to yours. I wake up and it's the dead of the night. I feel awake, like my eyes are open, but I'm visually seeing something in the room with me that's not really there, moving towards me, standing over me.
See, I've never.
Okay.
I've never had my experience with sleep paralysis. It wasn't like that. Now I have read accounts where it was, but my personal experience, it was I was like off in a dream or off in the astral plane. And
your voice is kind of fading. Can you come back closer to the mic?
Like I was being bit by a snake. I'm sorry.
Can you come back closer to the mic a bit? You were really clear there for a minute, and then you kind of drifted off again.
Yes.
There we go.
Yeah. So the last 2 times that I experienced the sleep paralysis, I was I don't remember until the very end. My eyes were opened at the end, but right just before that, it was like I remember I had been injected with some type of poison or something to that effect, to where I could actually literally feel my heartbeat slowing down. Okay,
mm-hmm.
And then the other time, it was a snake bite. Like I could feel the venom. Like every time my heart beat, I could feel the venom pumping through my veins. Pumping throughout my system, my circulatory system. And I mean, I would open my eyes and it was like terrifying, obviously, you feel it and it was painful. But this was not like that. Because I was able to move. This wasn't sleep paralysis to my knowledge, because I jumped up and my eyes were open and I'm standing there and it was still there. Now, I don't know if you could maybe describe it as a hallucination, but
it'd be a hypnagogic hallucination. I think would be the proper term for it. And you can get up and move and still be seeing. I'm not saying that that's necessarily what happened in your case, but you can fight against your sleep paralysis demon,
right,
so to speak, and try to push it and try to get it away from you. That's generally what happens immediately when I break out of mine. I haven't had it in years, but when I break out of it, I'm flailing and throwing my arms around and stuff, throwing my watch off, apparently. So,
I remember one of the last times I had the sleep paralysis. I was trying to call out, but all I could get out was like a faint whimper, like a very faint voice. It was like I couldn't get any words out hardly. But I had my eyes open. I just couldn't move. And this wasn't like that. I know
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was going to say that sounded like sleep paralysis, but then you clarified that's not what it was like. So never mind. Yeah. Again, I mean, why not just conclude that you had a really vivid dream?
I mean, it's a plausible theory to think that, and however, my fiance, she's right here. She has had similar. I don't know.
She was there with you, right? Did she see it?
Because she didn't see it.
Oh, she didn't see it. Okay.
Excuse me?
She didn't see it?
I woke her up and she was like, "What is going on?"
Oh, I bet. Yeah, you're up. You're up,
repeat that?
flailing your arms around and stuff. I'm sure it's probably scared her pretty good too.
Well, I mean, I hopped up as soon as I saw it. It was like skulking around in the bedroom, and when I hopped up, it backed away from me.
Right.
And it made facial expressions like it was surprised. I've had a lot of dreams, and this wasn't anything like that. I don't know if it was like a waking dream, like I was physically up and still dreaming. Now, if that's what you're talking about, is that a possibility? Maybe. But I have yet to haven't had an experience like that before or since.
Right, and that uniqueness kind of makes me wonder if it wasn't something along the lines of a waking dream, or your dream was just so vivid you thought you were awake.
Well,
yeah,
here's
it's
the
definitely
thing.
worth looking into.
I actually have some video, not video. I have some photographic pictures that I took of the front of our house. Like I said, when we first moved in here, we almost immediately started experiencing strange phenomena and things that were going on inside the house. And so fast forward to this year, okay, this late spring, around May sometime, we had a unique looking hazy purple pink sunset that day. And I'd been doing yard work in the front yard. So, naturally I was like, oh, this is nice. So I started taking pictures of the front of the house, the yard work, whatnot, the sky behind the house. And I didn't think anything. So a few weeks later, I'm going through my phone, trying to delete some pictures to make space in my phone. And I was going through the photos, and I noticed something that kind of caught my eye. So I opened that photo up, and in the window of the house, in that picture, there was something that really caught my attention, and I almost couldn't believe it. And, you talk about parabola and all that, like, I really had to search this picture, like, up and down. Like, I blew it up. I put filters on it. I didn't alter anything other than, like, the shading and the light as far as, to try and get some clarity and some depth between the shadows. But there's four different figures in this photo, okay? One looks like a canine, like a dog type creature. One looks like a demonic horn type creature. One looks like a large, like a classic looking gray alien head. And that's what I saw in our room, but it wasn't short. It wasn't short like a typical, like you hear about the 3 feet. Maybe a tall gray, but it didn't have all the exact elements of the descriptions that you hear. Okay. And then in the last photo, or the last image that on the other side, it looks like a man's face in that picture, all in the window. And I have that picture right
and
now. I still have that picture. And go ahead.
I think Ethan's got that picture. I was talking to him in chat on the side here. We'll see if we can actually put that picture up.
Yeah.
You share it with Ethan? Okay. There we go.
Okay, so we're looking at it, and I don't see...
See a ceiling fan?
Yeah. So where are these images of these folks that you're seeing?
Is there a screen in this window?
I don't know if you can see it. Some people don't see it. Some people do, and some people are like me, see it clearly as day. And when I saw that photo, when I was going through the photos, the first one I saw was on the lower left. It looks like a horned type creature. That's the first face that I noticed. Then, like under the ceiling fan is the large head. It looks like, to me, it looks like the head of an alien, like a gray alien. But in the lower left, it looks like a bear type or a dog type of a creature. I don't know if you all can see it, honestly.
No, I don't see anything other than shadows on that picture. Nothing that looked even remotely like anything like what you're describing. I don't see any heads. I don't see any horns. I just don't see it.
I got some questions about it.
Some people don't. Some people really don't. And over in the far right, on the far right side, there's a photo or a image of what I see is a clear face, like a human face.
Yeah, and just didn't see any of that.
Wow. Okay. Well.
Okay.
some people haven't that I've shown the photo to. They don't see it.
I have questions about this.
And,
What floor is this on?
That's the second floor.
Second floor. Okay, and you're standing out in the yard.
Second
Is there
floor.
a screen in that window?
Yeah, yeah. No,
Is it
there's no screen.
no screen? So it's just open.
No screen. I could.
Is this the house you live in now?
It is.
Okay, and there's no screen in the window now either? No storm window or anything?
I honestly, I don't think that there is. I don't think that there is a screen up there. It's just, it's you can raise the window up, but I don't believe that there's a screen in that window. Honestly,
is the window open here, or are we looking at the tempered glass?
No, it's closed. It's closed. The window is closed in that photo.
How old's your house?
When was it? Built in 2004.
2004. Do you know on the windows is it tempered glass or is it? Do you know what kind of glass?
I'm not sure if it's tempered glass or not. It's just
okay.
It's
I'm just
probably
wondering.
The original glass that was in.
Okay.
Graphic glass.
Okay. No, it's okay. I didn't know how much you were, because if you when you were looking at the real estate papers or anything, it'll tell you a little bit about that kind of stuff for the house.
Yeah. And I don't, again, I got to go back to what I was looking at, and I just don't see what you're saying. And I think one of the things is it looks like the camera was at a bit of an angle because the window looked a little askew on that side. So I'm not sure that everything that you're going to see on that is going to be from the right perspective. But
I'll have to post, or I can send you guys the other photos that I have. Maybe that will make a difference. All I did in that photo probably is, when I cropped the photo to try and enlarge it, it's not perfectly straight. So
right.
Maybe that has something. I don't know. But I do have photos of, you can see the actual front of the house a little better,
Mm-hmm.
So this is zoomed in quite a bit from for street level, out in the yard.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I was just standing right outside the front of the house, when I took the photo. And I really wasn't trying to focus in on the window. I was just trying to get a picture of like the house itself and the background,
right?
The sunset and I just happened to see that, and it just going back to what my experiences was in the fall. I saw that face and some of the things that we've experienced here. I was like, oh my God, maybe it has something to do with it. Maybe it doesn't. But, I've tried to, ever since then, I've tried to understand and learn as much as I possibly can, even more so than I thought I knew before. But yeah.
I'm looking at the picture now. I went back and just paused our stream to look at it. And if you look at it long enough, you can kind of do like you do when you're staring at the clouds and looking for shapes and stuff in the clouds. I can see. You said there was like a dog in the lower left corner. I can see. I can make a dog appear if I look at it the right way. I believe it's pareidolia. I think that we're just that we can train our minds to look for familiar shapes, including faces in just formless. I guess I don't know what you'd call it, just shadow and light kind of meshing together there in the window from that angle, and we can force our brains to pick faces and forms out of that. What would you say to that? Because I could see things in here that you don't see. Maybe I could see something that you don't see if I look at it long enough and
right.
That something's there.
I understand what that phenomenon is. I totally understand what you're saying, and maybe you don't see it, like I see it, or other people have seen it, and that's okay too. It's not. it's not something that I don't know. I'm not really upset that you can't see it or anything. I just, me personally, that's what I feel it is, because I've went back and taken some more photos of that same shot, trying to recapture it, and I haven't been able to.
Right.
There's other pictures that I have that it was almost like whatever is in that photo that you guys are looking at was manifesting right as I took several pictures in a succession. And there's other things, like not all those photos, not all of it is together. Like, yeah, it was like halfway, if you could imagine a face manifesting itself, but it wasn't complete. I have a photo of something that's similar to something like that I would describe it.
Yeah, but
so
light changes.
I don't know.
Yeah, natural light and light changes so much minute to minute. Sometimes second by second. I mean, I spend quite a bit of time watching sunsets, and it's amazing how quickly the light can change as clouds move across it, move across the sky, and as the sun's setting, the lighting can change quite a bit.
These photos that I took of that right then, they were pretty much taken within 1 minute,
right,
seconds of each other. It wasn't.
Yeah, and if they're all the same type of photo where you have people who don't see it and people who do, I don't know how that could be convincing that it's anything other than an artifact of the camera.
Right. Like I said, I mean, yeah, some people don't see it. Some people do. It's one of those things, I guess.
Let's do a recap of your experience. Let's do a recap of your experience that you had in this home. So you said there was some electrical stuff, the lights flickering and dimming, and then there was your visitor when you were sleeping.
Now, there was that issue with the lights. When we first moved in, we were laying in the bathtub, and like the lights started dimming down in the bathroom, and then they started getting brighter again, and yeah, like
that could just be
a movie or something.
It could just be a power surge. Could be bad ground, or yeah. I mean, there's a number of things that it could be, all of which are fairly natural explanations. So yeah, I'm not sure that.
But it was the bathroom. The bathroom light was the only one that did that, because it was in the master bedroom, which has the bathroom. That was the only light that did that. The other
you ever had anybody look at the wiring?
I don't know.
Yeah, and it could be a bad ground just on that circuit. I mean, it could be just that circuit. It doesn't have to be throughout the entire house.
Or just a bad on the switch, even just right there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Bad connection on the switch. There are, I mean, and so we got this collection of different phenomena that's kind of inflicting. You got your pictures with anomalies in them. You have the lights dimming. You have the encounter that you had, of course. So I mean, all of these things,
right?
Priming your. Did you have these experiences with like in the same time frame? I mean, were you expecting things to happen?
Yes, still presently happening, actually. But there's one other thing that I would like to tell. So right after, not long after that October 13th event, we have a dog. And his name's Ollie. Well, he was a puppy, and we were house breaking him, And it was late at night once again, and I had opened up the back door to let the dog out. Okay, go outside. So I'm walking around at the house, like throughout the rooms and stuff, and So the back door is open. Well, I see our dog come inside, look right up at me, and it started urinating on the floor right at my feet. And it made like direct eye contact. As soon as I started yelling at the dog to stop, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it looked up at me and then just bolted, made a beeline right out the back door. Okay. I chased after the dog, like right there, and it just kind of disappeared. I didn't see where it went. I couldn't find it. So I turned right around, went back into the house, and there's the dog sitting by the wall, chewing his bone.
Okay. And the floor was still wet with urine?
Another experience that I've had here in this house that I can't describe other than I have no other explanation.
And was the floor still wet with urine?
Excuse me?
So the dog came back in, looked at you, pissed on the floor, and then you chased it, left. You chased it. Was the urine still on the floor?
Yeah, absolutely. But it didn't run. It didn't run away like normal. It didn't run away. It didn't look like my dog when he was walking. It had a different type of movement. It was like if you could imagine like how a rat scurries. It kind of had that motion. That movement, it was the creepiest thing. So I come back into the house after chasing after the dog that just disappeared, that looked like my dog. Come inside and there he is. And this house is not that big. I mean, you can go from room to room, and
I think
I had the dog outside. Right around, there he was. Like, I can't describe it other than that. I can't explain it other than that.
Yeah, that still just sounds like a dog doing dog stuff. I mean, okay, he ran a little funny, not real sure why, but it wouldn't be unusual for the dog to, as soon as it got out of the house and you broke sight with it to run around behind you and get back in the house. Those are all things that dogs can do.
I didn't break sight with it. I was following the dog outside and it just disappeared. Like it was gone. And I turned around, the dog's behind me, back in the house. Like there was no delay as far as, breaking sight with the dog. It was chasing a dog. Dog has disappeared, turning around, going right back into the house, and there it is.
All right.
There's no other way. The front door wasn't open. The garage wasn't open. It was a small area. I can't explain it, man. I wish I could.
Well, we can definitely explore that sighting, but we're actually out of time on this episode for our calls.
Yeah,
we do appreciate you calling in, and I would like to have you call back in and maybe explore this encounter a little bit more. I have questions about it, but I'm not going to have time to get to them. But we appreciate your call here, Eric.
And I appreciate you guys. I'll look forward to listening to your podcast as well.
Thank you. We'll be here every Tuesday.
Thanks. Yep.
Okay. Excellent. Thank you.
All right. Take care, Eric.
Take care.